The ground shook beneath his feet. Explosions flashed in the sky above. Private Jackson ran through the alien jungle. Blood dripping from his side, he had been separated from his squad. Now, wounded and alone, he didn't know where he was. Only that the enemy was close, and he was dying. He crashed through thick blue vines and strange glowing plants. Each step hurt more than the last. His vision blurred, but he kept going ahead. He saw a broken stone wall covered in moss. It looked ancient, something long forgotten. He stumbled forward and slipped inside. The ruins were silent. Wind moved through the cracks. Whispering like a ghost, Jackson collapsed beside a small pool in the center. The water glowed faintly purple. His lips were dry, his body weak. He needed water, or he wouldn't make it. He leaned forward and drank. The liquid was warm, sweet, and strange. As it touched his tongue, a burning heat shot through his body. His heart raced, his skin tingled, but he didn't stop. He drank until the pain in his side dulled, until the cold inside him faded. Then he passed out when he opened his eyes. He wasn't alone. A figure stood in front of him. Tall and radiant, she had violet skin, glowing silver eyes, and long hair that floated like it was underwater. She wore a crown made of living crystal. Her robes shimmered like starlight. Her voice trembled with fury. "You drank from the sacred pool," she said. Jackson tried to sit up, confused. "I was dying," he said. "I thought it was water." She stepped closer. Her eyes wide with disbelief. "That was not water," she whispered. "That was my blood." His heart stopped. He blinked, unsure if he heard her right. "Your blood." She nodded slowly. "I am Princess Valaire of the House of 10 Stars, she said. "That pool holds my life essence, my legacy, my bond." Jackson swallowed hard. He could still feel the strange warmth inside him. "I didn't mean to," he said. "I was just trying to survive." The princess looked down, her expression unreadable. Then she whispered something that shook the air. "You drank my blood," she said again. "That makes you my mate." The room spun. Jackson stared at her, shocked. "Wait, what?" "No, I didn't mean you can't undo it," she said. Stepping back, "Our laws are clear. The one who drinks from the royal blood pool becomes bound to the air." To me, a pulse of light ran through the room. Jackson's chest burned. He looked down and saw a faint glowing mark appear over his heart. A matching mark glowed on the princess's palm. The bond had already begun. Guards rushed into the chamber. Weapons drawn, they aimed at Jackson. Shouting in an alien tongue, the princess raised her hand. Stopping them, "No," she said firmly. "Do not harm him. He is mine now." One guard looked stunned. "But, Princess, he's human." "I know," she said, her voice cold. "But the bond has been made. He cannot leave." Jackson's breath caught in his throat. He wasn't just stuck, he was trapped in something ancient and sacred. And he didn't even understand it. "Can't we break the bond?" he asked. The princess looked at him sadly. "Only through death," she said. "Yours or mine?" Silence fell over the chamber. Outside, the sounds of war still echoed, but inside these stone walls, something far more dangerous had begun. A human soldier, an alien princess, bound by accident, tied by blood, and now everything would change. Jackson sat in a large crystal chamber, surrounded by silence. Everything shimmered with alien beauty, walls of glowing stone, silver vines curling along the ceiling, soft light pouring in from floating orbs. But he didn't feel peace. He felt like a prisoner. Guards stood at every corner, watching him without blinking. He rubbed the glowing mark on his chest. It still pulsed with faint light, like it was alive, no matter how hard he scrubbed. It wouldn't disappear across the room. The alien princess stood by a curved window. Her long hair glowed like silk, her back turned to him. She hadn't spoken to him since they brought him here. Jackson didn't know if she was angry, ashamed, or just lost in thought. Finally, he broke the silence. "Princess Valari," he said softly, "I didn't mean to cause trouble." She didn't look back. Her voice was calm but cold. "You caused more than trouble." He stood up slowly, careful not to alarm the guards. "I didn't know," he said. "I was dying." The princess turned to him, her silver eyes shining with sadness. "You were meant to die," she said. "Any outsider who drinks royal blood must perish." His heart skipped. "Then why didn't you let them kill me?" She walked toward him. "Slowly, the bond is made," she said. "Your death would harm me too. Our life forces are now connected." Jackson stared at her. "That can't be real," he whispered. "I'm just a human." She touched her own glowing palm. "I didn't ask for this," she said. "But the curse is real." Jackson frowned. "Curse?" She nodded. "It's an ancient rule from before the stars had names," she said. "Whoever drinks the blood of the royal line becomes soul-bound. Every pain you feel, I will feel. Every wound I take, you will carry too." Jackson looked at her hand, then back at his chest. "So, if I get hurt, you feel it?" "Yes," she said. "And if I die?" "You die too." A chill ran down his spine. "Great," he muttered. "So we're stuck." The princess didn't laugh. She stepped closer, looking him in the eyes. "There is more," she whispered. "Our people believe the blood bond makes us fated mates, that love will follow." Whether we want it or not, Jackson felt like the floor shifted beneath him. "You don't even know me," he said. "I'm a soldier, not a prince." "I don't want a prince," she whispered, her voice shaking. "I wanted freedom, but now I have you." Just then, a tall figure entered the chamber, an elder with skin like carved stone and eyes as sharp as blades. He wore the markings of the royal council. "Princess Valari," the elder said, bowing slightly. "The council demands your presence. They have heard of the bond." The princess stiffened. "I will not leave him alone," she said. "He is bound to me. He is human," the elder hissed. "Your people will not accept this." Jackson watched the argument quietly. He felt like a mistake, one they wanted to erase. He stepped forward. "Let me go," he said. "If this bond is so dangerous, just break it." The elder turned to him, fury in his eyes. "If you die, the princess suffers," he said. "You are a walking threat." The princess moved between them. "He is mine," she said sharply. "If you touch him, you will answer to me." The elder bowed again, but there was poison in his smile. "As you wish," he said. "But your people will rise against you." He left in silence, his footsteps echoing like thunder. Jackson sat down again, rubbing his face. "This is insane," he whispered. "I didn't ask for any of this." The princess sat beside him, her voice soft now. "Neither did I," she said. "But we must survive it." He looked at her. "You really think they'll come after me?" "They already are," she said. "They see you as a curse. But I?" She hesitated. "I don't know what I see." Jackson smiled weakly. "Well, let's hope you see something useful for the first time." She almost smiled too, but it faded quickly. "Get some rest," she said. "They'll test us tomorrow." "Test us how?" he asked. She stood and looked toward the stars. "To see if this bond is true," she said, "to see if we are soulmates." And with that, she walked away, leaving him alone with a glowing mark on his chest and a future he didn't understand. The sound of drums echoed across the royal city, low, deep, steady like thunder rolling from the mountains. Jackson stood on a balcony high above the glowing city. He watched dark shapes move beyond the horizon, troops, ships, and banners. An army was coming. He turned toward the princess, who stood beside him in full armor. Her crystal crown had been replaced with a war helm. but her eyes still held pain, not anger. "They're here for me," Jackson said quietly. "They're here because I drank your blood." She didn't answer right away. Then she whispered, "They're here because of what you are now, not just bonded," she said. "But a danger to the old ways, below them?" The gates were sealed. Shields hummed across the palace walls. Soldiers, both alien and human, stood shoulder to shoulder. Some still looked at Jackson with doubt, others with fear, but none turned away. "They call it the Purge March," the princess said. "They believe you've polluted the royal line." Jackson clenched his fists. "Then let's give them a reason to fear me." The princess turned to him. Startled, but something in her eyes shifted respect. Maybe, or something deeper. Suddenly, the chamber door burst open. A young royal guard ran in, breathless. "High Priest Loro demands the human," he shouted. "He claims the bond is false. He wants the blood tested before the whole court." Jackson raised an eyebrow. "Blood test?" The princess stepped forward, voice cold. "They want to cut you," she said. "If your wound bleeds silver light, the bond is real. If not, they'll say it was all a trick. And if it is real?" Jackson asked. "They'll still want you dead," she whispered. "Because the bond makes you part of the royal bloodline, you could claim the throne." Jackson blinked. "I don't want a throne, but now the throne wants you," she said. Later that day, inside the grand hall, thousands gathered, priests, nobles, generals, and servants. All eyes turned when Jackson stepped in beside the princess. Some gasped at the glowing mark on his chest. Others spat on the floor. High Priest Loro stood tall on the platform. His robe glittered with sacred threads. "Bring the blade," he said. A golden dagger was laid on a stone table. The princess's hand tightened around Jackson's. "You don't have to do this," she said. But Jackson nodded. "I need to," he replied. For both of us, he stepped forward, took the blade, and without flinching cut a shallow line across his palm. For a moment, nothing. The crowd murmured, ready to shout, then light. Silver blue light poured from the wound like molten starlight. The hall fell silent. Even Luro stepped back. The princess rushed to his side and held his hand tightly. "Your blood carries mine," she said. "It's true," but then the high priest growled. "Then he is royal," he shouted, "and by law. He must be tested by fire." "Tested?" Jackson asked, frowning. "What now?" "Trial by battle," Loro said. "You must face a challenger. In front of the palace gates. If you survive, you may remain bonded. If you fall, the bond dies with you." "Sounds fair," Jackson muttered. The princess looked at him in horror. "It's not fair," she whispered. "They've chosen your opponent already." "Who?" he asked. She turned away. "Prince Dvorak," she said. "My former betrothed." Night fell fast. Torches lit the edge of the city. The gates opened, and people gathered to watch. Jackson stood in the middle of the dueling ground. Wearing alien armor shaped to his body, the princess fastened the final piece herself. Her fingers lingered near his neck. "You don't have to win," she said. "Just stay alive." "I'll do better than that," he replied. "I'll make him bleed." A horn blew. Prince Dvorak entered, tall, deadly, shining with dark armor and rage. He glared at Jackson like he was nothing. "You are a worm," Dvorak spat. "You don't deserve her blood." Jackson gripped his blade. "Then come prove it," he said. The duel began. Blades clashed. Sparks flew. Jackson was fast, human reflexes honed by war. But Dvorak was trained since birth to kill. He struck hard, again and again. Jackson fell back, bleeding from his arm. But then something surged inside him. The bond? He felt the princess's heart beating wildly. He felt her fear, her hope, her strength. He rose again. This time he fought like fire. One final strike. And Dvorak dropped to his knees. Jackson held the blade to his throat. But didn't kill him. He looked at the princess and lowered his sword. The crowd watched in stunned silence. Then cheers, real ones. The gates of war had opened. But so had something deeper. The galaxy was watching now. And Jackson was no longer just a soldier. He was bonded, chosen, and maybe something more. Asterisk, the duel was over. Prince Dvorak had fallen, but Jackson didn't feel like a winner. He stood in the middle of the arena, chest rising with each breath, blood dripping from his arm. Around him, nobles whispered, guards watched, and thousands of eyes burned into his back. He wasn't just a stranger anymore. He was part of their future, whether they liked it or not. Princess Valari walked toward him. Her robes trailed behind her like smoke. She placed her hand over his wound, and light flowed from her palm. Jackson flinched. But the pain faded instantly. The bleeding stopped. Their bond. It healed him. The crowd gasped. She gave him her light. Someone whispered. "That's no lie," said another. The whispers grew louder, but Valerie ignored them. She kept her eyes on him. "You didn't kill him," she said softly. Jackson nodded. "He hates me," he replied. "But I'm not a monster." Valerie's hand lingered on his. She didn't pull away. The bond chose well, she whispered. Then she led him out of the arena. That night, the palace glowed with quiet. No parties, no celebrations, only silence. The stars above were soft and still. Jackson couldn't sleep. He stood by a balcony, watching alien moons drift through the sky. He heard footsteps. Valerie appeared beside him, wearing a simple robe, her crown gone. Her armor replaced by silk. "You should be resting," she said. "I'm not good at resting," Jackson replied with a tired smile. "You?" She shook her head. "Not tonight." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then she asked, "Do you feel it?" "The bond?" Jackson nodded. "I feel you," he said. "Your heart, your thoughts. Like small waves in my chest. It's strange. It will grow," she said, "if we allow it." Jackson looked at her. "Is that what you want?" She didn't answer right away. She walked to a crystal bench and sat down. Then she looked up at him and said, "I was born into chains, not iron. But tradition, every step, every word, was chosen for me. My future was a throne beside a man I didn't love." Jackson sat beside her. "And now you're bonded to someone you didn't choose either." "I don't know if that's true," she said. "You didn't choose the blood, but you chose mercy in battle. You chose to stand beside me when they hated you. Maybe the bond didn't choose us. Maybe we chose it." A silence fell between them, but it was a warm silence, not cold. She reached into her sleeve and pulled out a small orb, glowing with soft light. "This is part of the mating rite," she said. "It shows memory." Truth, she placed it between them. It hovered in the air and shimmered. Jackson saw her as a child alone, guarded, afraid to laugh. Then as a young woman arguing with council members. Crying behind closed doors, he saw her strength, her pain, her heart. Then, without words, she reached forward and pressed the orb to his chest. Images shifted now. It was his memories. A broken Earth battlefield, brothers lost, nights spent in foxholes. He flinched, but she held his hand. She didn't turn away. The orb faded. But something between them had changed. Not just understanding, but closeness. Something real. She leaned closer. "The final rite," she whispered. "It is not a ceremony of gold or fire. It is when two souls allow each other in. When the bond becomes love." Jackson looked into her eyes. Silver stars swirled in them, and for the first time, he didn't feel like a stranger here. He felt wanted. He took her hand. "I'm not a prince," he said. "I'm still scared. Still confused, but I'm not running." Her eyes softened. "Then let it grow," she said. "Let the bond deepen." And just like that, He felt a warmth in his chest. Not just healing, but connection. The glow on their palms brightened. The mark on his chest shimmered softly. 2 heartbeats aligned. 2 stars, once alone now, orbiting each other. Outside, the palace remained quiet. But inside, something ancient stirred. The beginning of something rare. Not just duty, not just fate, but love. The next morning, the palace halls were still. A soft hum filled the air from the floating crystals above. Jackson woke in a chamber made of violet stone, his body sore but alive. The bond had changed him. He could feel it in his breath. In the calm way his heart beat. He was stronger now. But he didn't understand how. The princess entered without knocking. She carried something wrapped in black cloth. Her eyes serious. "You're awake," she said gently. "I need to show you something." Jackson sat up. "What is it?" Valeri placed the cloth on the table, then unwrapped it slowly. Inside was a scroll, sealed with silver wax. "This is one of the lost scripts," she said. Hidden for generations, he leaned closer. The scroll was covered in alien runes and glowing threads of gold. She opened it, revealing diagrams of stars, DNA spirals, and humans. He blinked. "Wait, that's human." "Yes," she said. "Our ancestors didn't just visit Earth. They used human DNA to perfect royal blood. Your kind was chosen for something powerful." Jackson sat back, stunned. "So, I'm part of this?" She nodded. "The bond didn't happen by mistake. Your blood reacts to mine because it carries the key." Jackson looked at his glowing mark. "Does this mean I'm not fully human?" "You are," she said quickly, "but long ago. Humans were altered slightly just enough to connect with our kind. Only a few carry the dormant spark. You were one of them." He tried to process her words. "You're saying this was fate or destiny," she said. "But more than that, means you're changing. Changing how?" He asked. Nervous Valerie stood and lit a crystal orb beside them. The light expanded and showed a vision of Jackson's body. It revealed glowing veins, energy points, and something pulsing near his heart. "That's new," she said, pointing to it. "A core forming inside you, a fusion between human and royal essence." Jackson stared at the image. "What happens if it keeps growing?" "You'll gain gifts," she said. "Healing, sensing danger, heightened strength. But your body might not hold it forever." He swallowed hard. "Then what do I do?" "There's only one way to stabilize it," she said, her voice soft. "You have to complete the bond, fully." He looked at her. "You mean?" Mating. Valerie blushed, then nodded. "Yes, not just physical, but spiritual. The rite of binding is sacred. It would seal our bond. And your transformation." Jackson looked down. "And if we don't?" "Then the power inside you will grow unstable," she said. "Eventually, it will tear you apart." He stood and paced the room. "This is all too fast," he muttered. "I came here to survive a war, not become some cosmic prince." Valerie stepped closer. "I didn't ask for this either," she said. "But I'm not walking away. You saved me from a future I didn't choose. Let me save you from a death you don't deserve." Her words struck deep. Jackson turned to face her. "What if I'm not ready?" He asked. "Then I'll wait," she whispered. "But know this, every moment you delay, the energy inside you grows harder to control. It's already changing you." She reached out and touched his cheek. His skin glowed softly beneath her fingers. The bond responded to her touch as if it knew her voice, her heart. He leaned into her hand. "I'm scared," he admitted. "So am I," she said, "but we're not alone anymore." A knock echoed through the chamber. A royal guard entered, bowing low. "My lady," he said. "An urgent message." He handed her a crystal scroll. Valerie read it quickly. Then her face darkened. "It's the High Priest," she said. "He claims the bond was faked with ancient tech. He's calling a blood trial before the entire Star Council. What's a blood trial? Jackson asked. It's public, she said, her voice tense. They'll make you show your bond. They'll try to weaken it, even break it. And if they do, you'll die, she said flatly. And so will I. The weight of her words hung in the air like a blade. Jackson looked at her, and in that moment, something shifted inside him. Not fear, not panic, but purpose. If we're going to do this, he said slowly, then let's do it right. Valerie's eyes widened. You mean I'll finish the bond? He said. But not because I have to, because I want to. The light between them pulsed brighter, two souls beginning to align. Not by accident, but by choice, and far away. In the cold towers of the priesthood, eyes watched, plans moved, and the stars began to tremble. Asterisk, the twin suns were rising over the capital sky. The palace was silent, but the air pulsed with tension. Something ancient was about to happen, something that hadn't occurred in 1,000 years. Jackson stood before a mirror made of starlight crystal. He wore ceremonial armor, half human military, half alien royal, dark metal crossed with glowing threads. Across his chest, the bond mark burned softly. It pulsed with every beat of his heart. This was the day he would complete the bond. A soft knock echoed through the chamber. Valerie entered. She wore a flowing gown woven from living silk. Gold shimmered around her waist, and a crown of fire lilies circled her head. Jackson turned on, forgot how to breathe. She paused when she saw him. The light caught his armor. His scars, his steady gaze. For a second, neither of them spoke. Then Valerie stepped forward. You look strong, she whispered. Jackson smiled. You look like you walked out of a dream. She lowered her eyes. Hiding the warmth in them, they're already gathering, she said. The whole galaxy will watch this right. No pressure, Jackson muttered with a nervous laugh. But his hands were steady now, his heart calm. He had made his choice. They walked together through the ancient halls. Guards bowed, nobles turned in awe. Many had come expecting a scandal. Now they witnessed a legend. The ceremonial arena was massive, built from carved starstone. Floating crystals hovered in the air, casting soft music through the space. At the center stood the altar, two circles woven together by glowing vines. One for her, one for him. Together, they would step into the center and speak the words that would seal the bond for life. High Priest Loro stood beside the altar. His face stone cold. He still doubted, still hoped the bond would fail. But Valerie ignored him. She took Jackson's hand and led him into the light. The crowd stood silent. Billions watched from screens across 100 worlds, human and alien alike. The priest raised his hand. Step into the twin circles, he said. Speak your truth. Vale Larry stepped into her circle, her voice steady. I am Vale Larry, daughter of the 10 stars. I offer my soul to the one who carries my light. My pain is his. My joy is his. My life is his. The circle lit up beneath her feet. A swirl of silver and blue wrapped around her legs like mist. Then Jackson stepped into his. His voice was quiet but firm. I am Jackson, a man of Earth. I did not ask for this bond, but I do not run from it. I give you my loyalty, my strength, and my truth. His circle flared with golden light. The bond between them shimmered in the air, visible now. Like a thread of fire connecting their hearts, the priest hesitated. Then place the final crystal between them. Touch it together, he said. Let the bond speak. Valari reached out first. Jackson followed. Their fingers touched the crystal at the same time. Light exploded around them. Waves of color shot into the sky. Gold, silver, red, blue. Every starstone in the city lit up. Every screen across the galaxy flashed white. The crowd gasped. A symbol bloomed in the air above them to marks entwined, the sign of a completed bond. The sign of a true mating. Jackson stumbled back, breathing hard, but he didn't fall. Valari rushed to him. "Are you all right?" She whispered. He looked at her and smiled. "I feel whole." The high priest scowled. "It cannot be undone now," he muttered. They are truly mated. Valari helped Jackson up. The light around them began to fade. But the bond remained strong, their hands still glowing, their hearts still linked. Suddenly, a soldier ran into the arena. He was breathless, panicked. "My princess, my prince," he shouted. "There's been an attack on the outer planets. Someone is testing the new royal order." Valari's eyes narrowed. "Who?" The soldier swallowed hard. "A rival royal line," he said. "They say your bond is a lie. They demand proof in war." Jackson's smile faded. "So the ceremony wasn't enough," he said quietly. "They want blood." Valari turned to him. "They'll come for us both," she said. "But they don't know what we've become." Jackson looked down at his hands, still glowing. "I'm ready," he said, "not just to love you, but to fight beside you." She reached for him again. And this time, she kissed him, not in secret, not in silence, but in front of the whole galaxy. Their bond burned bright. And somewhere far across the stars, an enemy watched with cold eyes. His time would come, but so would theirs. War drums echoed from distant moons. Starships gathered on the edge of Valari's homeworld. Dark banners rose across the void. The rival royal family, the House of Black Flame, had come to challenge the new bond. They called it a lie. They said no human could carry royal blood. They mocked the mating ceremony, and now they brought fire inside the palace war chamber. Jackson stood beside Valari. Tactical maps floated in the air, showing enemy movement. "They're surrounding the outer rings," a general said. "They won't stop until they break the bond door, kill you both." Jackson looked at Valari. Her armor gleamed under the pale lights, her expression calm. But he could feel it, her fear pulsing through their bond. She was afraid of losing him. He stepped closer. "We fight together," he said. "I didn't come this far to let them tear us apart." Valari turned to him. "There's more," she said quietly. "Their champion is my cousin, Lord Rethon. He was trained to destroy bondmates." "Let him try," Jackson replied. The mark on his chest flared brighter. The core inside him, half human, half alien, was now alive with power. The palace doors opened. A messenger entered, pale and shaking. "Lord Rethon has landed," he whispered. "He demands trial by combat. One-on-one." Jackson blinked. "Of course," he muttered. Another duel, but this one was different. This wasn't about proving love. This was about survival. The battlefield was not in the city. It was on a floating platform above the ocean of stars. Ancient, sacred, dangerous. A place where thousands had Photand died. Jackson stepped onto the stone. Across from him stood Lord Rethental. Cruel and glowing with red energy. "You are nothing," Rethon spat. "You are filth wearing a crown." Jackson said nothing. He gripped his blade, part earth steel, part alien crystal. His fingers tightened. His pulse matched Valari's. He could feel her watching from the ship above. The trial began. Rethon attacked like lightning. Jackson blocked, rolled, countered, but Rethon was fast, too fast. A cut appeared on Jackson's arm, then another. Pain flashed. Valari felt it through the bond. Her cry echoed across space. "Jackson." But he didn't fall. He rose again, again. He let the pain guide him. Let the bond flow through his limbs, and then it happened. His blade caught Rethon's shoulder. For a moment, the rival prince froze. Jackson's eyes glowed, his core fully awakened. His blood shimmered with silver and gold. He was no longer just a soldier. He was something new. Rethon backed away, breathing hard. You're changing, he said. You're not human anymore. Jackson raised his blade. I'm still me, he said, but now I carry her love and that makes me more, with a final strike. He disarmed Rethon. The red blade flew across the platform. Rethon dropped to his knees. Defeated, Jackson stepped forward. But he didn't kill him. Instead, he offered his hand. This is what strength looks like, he said. Not rage, not fear connection. Rethon looked up. Ashamed, the stars above shimmered, and across the galaxy. The message was clear. Later that night, Jackson returned to the palace. The people lined the streets, cheering. No one called him outsider anymore. They called him heartbound. They called him Starlight Warrior. But most of all, they called him hers. Velari stood at the gates waiting. When she saw him, she ran into his arms. Tears flowed down her cheeks. I felt everything, she whispered. I thought I'd lose you. He kissed her forehead gently. Not a chance, he said. You're stuck with me now? She laughed softly through her tears. Forever. Forever, he promised. Their bond glowed between them, no longer just a mark, but a living force, warm, bright, eternal. Two souls wrapped in one light, they walked into the palace, hand in hand. No longer princess and soldier, but mates, leaders, partners. In the dark corners of the universe, stories began to spread. Of a human who drank alien blood. Of a princess who gave her heart to someone born far away. Of a bond that defied laws, traditions, and even war. And somewhere out there, a child would one day ask, "Is it true, Mama? That love can cross stars?" And the mother would smile. Yes, she'd whisper, "If your heart is brave enough."